There comes a moment in life when the noise of the world becomes unbearable. The endless cycle of alarms, deadlines, and artificial lights, promising success yet stealing the very breath of living. I once believed endurance was virtue, that suffering was a necessary toll for a future I had yet to touch. My mother would say, "Wait till you get employed soon and you will understand how difficult it is," as though salvation lay in the very thing that drained my spirit. But one day I stopped waiting. I stopped enduring. I chose the unknown, the solitude, the wild. They say Gen Z is quick to quit, that we run from hardship. But perhaps we are simply unwilling to spend a lifetime in quiet despair, mistaking exhaustion for purpose. So I left, not for another job, not for another city, but for solitude, for the quiet embrace of a life beyond civilization. And this is what I found. Living is not easy. No one teaches you how to unravel a life you've spent years weaving. The doubts crept in. What if I was making a mistake? What if this was simply an escape and not a solution? The world does not look kindly upon those who walk away. Yet, the weight of staying was far heavier than the fear of leaving. And so, I chose to unburden myself. For those standing at the edge of a similar choice, know this: the hardest part is not the living itself, but convincing yourself that you are allowed to. That life is not a script to be followed, but a path you carve for yourself. There will be voices telling you to endure, that suffering is the way of things, they say, as though the tides of hardship would one day recede, as though patience alone would forge a better tomorrow.
Smeh. Smeh.
We have seen the weight of such endurance, the silent exhaustion in our parents' eyes, the dreams they shelved for the sake of survival. Generations before us bore their struggles with quiet obedience, never daring to question if life was meant to be more than mere existence. And so, the burden was passed down, like an heirloom none of us wished to inherit. But what if the cycle ends with us? What if we choose to unshackle ourselves from this inherited endurance? They
Meow.
say we are impatient, that we lack resilience, that we abandon our posts too soon. But what they call weakness, we call awakening, a refusal to mistake suffering for virtue. And so we step away, not because we are afraid of work, but because we know our worth. We are not lazy, we are just unwilling to sell our lives for pennies while our souls wither in the process. We seek meaning, balance, a life that feels like our own. In the hush of solitude, I found a rhythm unknown to the hurried world. The mornings here are painted in gold, the sun rising not as a signal to rush, but as an invitation to exist. Time slows, and so does the heart. The air is pure, untouched by the city's ceaseless exhale. My hands have learned the earth, planting what will soon nourish me, drinking from rivers that do not charge for their gift. There is an intimacy with life itself, a quiet self sufficiency that brings a kind of joy no salary could buy. Here, I have traded traffic for birdsong, artificial lights for a sky littered with stars. My feet know the softness of untamed grass, my heart the peace of belonging to no one's clock. Paradise is never without thorns. To walk away from a steady paycheck is to step into a storm of uncertainty. The world teaches us that security lies in a monthly salary, in a career path mapped out in careful increments. But what it does not teach is the price of that security, the quiet surrender of dreams, the exhaustion that creeps into the soul like a slow poison. Out here, financial freedom is not instant, nor is it guaranteed. There are no paychecks waiting at the end of the month, no employer to shield me from the weight of my own survival. Every penny must be earned, every risk taken with hope that it will bear fruit. But the other side of the coin, it is exhilarating to know that my time is my own, that my efforts feed me directly into my future rather than someone else's pocket, that the work I do is building my dream, not another's. Financial freedom, when truly grasped, is not just about wealth, it is about choice. The choice to wake up without an alarm, to create without permission, to craft a life not dictated by policies and contracts, but by passion and purpose. And though the road is uncertain and the fear of failure lingers, I would rather tread this path with trembling feet than remain shackled to a certainty that never truly belonged to me. Solitude, though beautiful, can be an unforgiving teacher. There are days when the silence is heavy, not comforting. Days when I wonder if I have made a mistake. The city, for all its chaos, was predictable. Here, unpredictability is the only certainty. Nature is not always kind. The charm of wildlife fades when it's a chameleon on your doorstep, a frog where you were meant to step, and in the night, when the wind howls and the creatures stir, courage becomes a necessity rather than a choice. The city had its deadlines, the village has its own. Fetching water before the sun scorches, growing food rather than buying it. Self sufficiency is a romantic idea until the weight of it solely sits upon your shoulders. And then there is the mind, whispering doubts, reminding me of all I left behind. No one tells you that freedom can be terrifying. Yet, despite the fears, despite the hardships, I remain. For I have learned that a life without struggle is a life without depth. And while I may still flinch at the sight of a chameleon and still battle the creeping doubts of uncertain future, I know this much. I would rather wrestle with these fears under an open sky than suffocate beneath the weight of a life unlived. I did not abandon work. I abandoned a life that was not my own. I chose days measured by the rise and fall of the sun, not by the ticking of a clock. I chose a life where I am not merely surviving, but living. And perhaps you are meant to choose that too.